Hello and welcome to SGen Tech Forum. Today I'm going to introduce you a very powerful Linux utility. This is called Cockpit. And as I tagged it, Linux admin made easy. You will figure out why I'm saying that. Cockpit is a user-friendly web-based console that provides super easy way to administer a Linux system through web. Yes, I have highlighted that in bold. Through web, that means via a web UI. You can monitor your system resource, add remove account, monitor system uses, even shut down the system or perform many other administrative tasks through very accessible web connection, right? So even if your initial install for Linux or system or variant of Linux system was CLI only, that means you didn't install any GUI version, you can still enable Cockpit or load Cockpit services and access the web UI and manage all the services, right? Because if you're a Linux admin, you see that number of processes in Linux grows over the time exponentially if it is a server or if it is a fully loaded workstation, right? Managing all this processes and monitoring system performance, everything via CLI can be a daunting task, and that's where the seasoned system admin step up. They write some kind of bash script and try to see what they want to monitor and how they want to uh, get triggered alert about that, right? So that's what we were doing, and it was like a more of a one person expertise, and it the implementation varies from one engineer to another engineer. But what is a universal platform? Can we do it universally? And that's where the Cockpit come into picture. With Cockpit, you can do some very typical but powerful task, which is listed here. So first is system. You can monitor your system activity. You can monitor CPU, memory, disk IO, network traffic. It give you very nice graphical representations as well. You can view all the logs. And then you can monitor your storage. You can see how full your disk partitions are. Then you can monitor all the networking services. You can manage user account. You can add user, delete user. You can create groups, park the user in the group. Everything you can do it from here. Services, you can check system services. You can restart them, load, unload them via web UI. Application, you can get all the application information. And software update, this is really powerful. So it from web UI you can come to know what all software updates are available for this release and what bug fixes comes along with that. That is really powerful. Otherwise you have to go like multiple places to search, like, okay, this package, what bug fixes are coming. But now you're getting this information at uh, one place. Terminal, you can get a CLI terminal from web UI itself. Depend on your install type of install, you can do some advanced stuff like running diagnostic, performing kernel dump, SC Linux, firewall management, and all those things you can do it from here. All right. So this is very powerful, and you will appreciate. I'm sure you will appreciate in when we go to demo. All right. Installing Cockpit, pretty easy. Depend on your install. You can do apt-get or sudo yum install Cockpit. um, that's how you pull the RPM packages. Then once you install that, you need to enable sudo systemctl enable uh, cockpit.socket. Once you enable the service, you'll see that Cockpit or your local machine will start listening to port 9090. That is a standard port for Cockpit services, right? You may have to do perform one additional task, which is allowing this port on your firewall, because most of the Linux system, they have the firewall enabled default. And if that is the case, uh, just installing the service may not work, because when you try to access web UI using port 9090, it will be blocked by firewall. So just punch a hole in firewall or apply a rule to allow Cockpit services, and that's what you can do. Once you have allowed in firewall, then the final step is you would like to access. And how to access that? You just go to your browser, put your system name or IP address, and tag it with colon 9090. So it will use this port, right? And your web UI will be there. So I'll show you that in demo. Important link. This is a Cockpit project, so this is official documentation. I highly recommend you to look at this. I'll tell you why, and this link will be available in description. So let's go to the official documentation. All right. So once you open that link, you will be coming. You'll come here, running Cockpit. It will tell you which client browsers are supported. At the same time, it will tell you if your current machine from where you have logged into this website can support Cockpit or no. Right. So it will run a quick check, which is pretty neat. Then you have the installation metrics, or pretty much all version of your Linux Unix is supported here. And at the same time, we have command instructions as well. So how to install for all variant. Pretty neat, right? All right, let's go to demo. I have two machines, Linux machines. So let's first check with the first one. First, let me show you the IP address, right? IPA, and this is the IP address, 192.168.1.130, right? It already has the Cockpit installed, so that means I have said enable command. Okay, so it is already enabled. Let's try to access this. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to my browser and say 192.168.1.130.1990. Yep. Here I am. Let's go back to the machine and see some logs. Okay, now you can see services loaded, and machine say that handshake TLS, maybe the TLS is not supported, version is not matching or something, but anyways we have access to machine, right? Let's try to log in to the machine using same command, how the way I SSH it. Okay, here we are, the web UI. Okay, very nice. So yeah, as you can see, this is a very nice web UI. On my right side I have all the menu options which I spoke in my documentation, and on right side you have your profile, SSH keys, help menu, uh, and it will give you help about web console, configuring system settings, web console, and all those things. Administrator access. Right now this tab is important. You can see that right now I am logged in with administrative access. So the username password I use, that gave me administrative access to the Linux machine, but I can always change it to limited access functionality, so that the way you can toggle it here. All right. So, but I would like to keep or retain my administrative access. Then what you can do, you can reboot shutdown from here, web UI. Let's look at the menu quickly. Overview, a nice overview of your CPU, memory, system information, machine ID, uptime, everything. Configuration, right? You can see all the informations are there. Some are clickable, so I can click and check. Two services have failed, bug fix update is available. So it is actually talking about highlights from the right hand side of the menu. So this is a snapshot of your system, right? You can always go and say click on these links and double click, dig deep. So it's telling me what is my CPU, memory, disk, network look like, right? You can also do some packet capture. All right, let's go back. Hardware details. All my hardware details, bridge and other details are here. Okay, so let's move on to the next tab, logs. You can see I can filter logs based on time, priority, identifier, search string. I can filter all the logs. So all the logs are here. Storage related information. Okay, so all my storage partitions, how much they are utilized, reading, writing information, everything we can see here. Okay, what are my drives, if do I have any iSCSI, and all those things. Networking related information, you can get it from here. What is your input output? One of the best thing what I like here is the firewall. My firewall is disabled right now, but in case it is enabled, I can do all my firewall management, rules, edit zone, everything from here in this tab. I'm not going to do that, but feel free to uh, play around. So this is how powerful it is. Like you can visualize all your firewall rules, make changes, and apply changes via UI. All my interfaces are here. Network related logs, account management, this is for user related management. That means I can create new account, I can create groups and all those things. Just uh, I'm keeping the length of the video in mind. That's why we are not doing or creating each entity, but you feel free to spend time as and when you use this tool. All right. You can see what all services are running: system services, target, socket, timers, path, so much information, and everything is available as a UI, right? You can also check like what services are running and are they uh, enabled by default. That means as your system start, the services get started automatically, right? So you can see that enable, static, disable, all those things, right? You can see that. So check config, basically you can do that. Then you can double click on those services. You can go and find more information about that service. What else you can do? You can reload, restart, stop, disallow, all those things you can do. So really powerful, really powerful. Then you have the application. These are the applications loaded. Diagnostic report based on my install. I can run diagnostic report, and I already have a diagnostic ran, so I will show you that report very quickly. Kernel dump. You can also do kernel dump test configuration. The service is failing for some reason, so I cannot do that. SC Linux, as you can see, I can change SC Linux policy from enforcing to disable or something else. That all we can do. Software update, the final thing what we I was talking, right? So here it can, based on the application installed, it is telling me these packages are available for software update, as you can see, and it tell me what bug fixes comes along with that, and I can selectively install one package, or I can say install all update. So that's the really powerful thing. And the final thing is terminal. I can access the CLI command line using Cockpit web console. So this is super powerful here. All right. So you can definitely feel free to play around with this. And the final thing what I wanted to show, if in case you decide to run a diagnostic report, you can download that diagnostic report locally on your machine. And this is my diagnostic report. Here you can see I have my uptime, my uname information, and all those things. There are tons of information here. What are all my routes, IP routing table, and everything is here, right? You may be wondering like what all commands we are running. So for that, you have to go to SOS report and click on SOS HTML. Once you click on HTML, you will come to know that these are the checks. These are the detailed checks which a diagnostic system has invoked. And you can actually go ahead and click on the link. You can click on the link and get more detail about that. So I cannot imagine how powerful it is. I mean, yes, it is offloading the burden of like knowing all the syntaxes and all those details, uh, and you can pretty easily troubleshoot, manage your system. So it is showing me all my PIDs, all the processes running, and where I have files, packages, DNF versions. So much information is there. It's an ocean of information, the diagnostic report. So I must admit that I really, really, really like Cockpit services, and I'm going to use it to manage all my Linux instances. I hope you like the video and you will also start using it. If you use it, let me know in comment section. And I hope you like that video. So if you like the video, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you.